The secret powers of the planets. A few years have passed after Ib sacrificed herself to stop Lee, and the memory of that moment still haunts Auram. Having also lost contact with Ningirsu since that day, Auram continues journeying the world with Imduk in search of his missing friend. Stumbling across a dormant crawler, Auram attempts tapping into it, hoping that it may yield a clue that leads him to Ningirsu. Accessing the crawler opened Auram up to its systems, showing him maps where crawlers still roam active. Armed with this new clue, Auram and Imduk set off towards uncharted lands in search of Ningirsu. His journey is arduous, but brings him into contact with other tribes across the world: the fiery recluses, the stalwart beasts, and lakeside trees. By bringing the tribes and their folklore together, Auram unlocks their hidden potential, akin to the world's chalice powers that were once bestowed upon him. There once was a god that ruled the skies, using dragonkind to maintain the balance of the realms through the cycle of destruction and rebirth. However, with each iteration of the cycle, more and more destruction was wrought, and thus the gods decided to descend to the earth and encase the everlasting destructive forces in the planet's core. The powers of creation and destruction raged within the planet, but were successfully contained, and a trickle of creation was allowed to leak to the surface to let life flourish. The gods turned the last of its power into a key, bestowing it as a focus of its own power, through which civilization on the planet's surface would combat the forces of destruction. As time passed, humanity began to populate the world, and their scientific knowledge and technological know-how brought themselves prosperity. Their advancements had adverse effects on the environment, however, which weakened the dragons that protect the planet. When humankind excavated the key, Lee, a leading scientist in that world, spearheaded research on it. The organization studying the key, named Crusadia, used the knowledge obtained from the key to develop the Meknites, mechanical defenders of the planet. Lee, however, was fascinated by the legend surrounding the key, and sought to use it to draw out the great darkness from within the planet and claim its divine powers. Following the commencement of Project Meknite, Meknite of the Morning Star was completed, imbued with the power of the key. While Lee was giving it a test run, she took the opportunity to realize her ambitions, directing the key's celestial powers into the planet's core to awaken the Great Darkness. The Great Darkness, through Morningstar, wrought destruction across the world, and the 7 other Meknites quickly rose to oppose and destroy it. To contain the darkness, the other members of the Crusadia developed physical vessels of their own, the World Legacies, and reprogrammed the Meknites to erase the remnants of humanity so that the planet can flourish again unimpeded. Meanwhile, Lee, who was killed in the Cataclysm, had already uploaded her soul into the World's Chalice, so she may once again attempt to claim the divine powers in the future. Auram begins to notice the presence of the Great Darkness, and feels that he is being beckoned to it. When he notices that the perpetrator is Ningirsu, he turns to his new companions for help. Together, they unite as the Crusadia, activating the World Crown to awaken to new forms, and advance towards the giant tower in the distance, Orchestrated Babel. There, they are opposed by the Orcust, led by Ningirsu, who is focused on activating the World Wand. Casting aside his doubt, Auram gathers all his courage to oppose his former friend and avert another disaster. When Ningirsu saw Auram cradling his sister's lifeless body, he was struck with despair, and his mind filled with a desire to revive Ib at any cost. He struck Auram unconscious, collected Ib's body, and fled with Auram's second sword. He proceeded to analyze the Meknite cores and Auram's swords to understand the powers of the World Legacies, and even maybe find a way to revive Ib. His efforts led him to learn of a number of abandoned facilities scattered across the world, and he sets off to check each one for answers. While most of what he found were unhelpful, Ningirsu eventually reaches a fully functional facility. Ningirsu has learned of all the secrets of the world. Using the ancients' technologies, he tries creating a vessel for M's soul. After numerous failures that would be repurposed as his Orcust army, his one successful creation is Galatea the Orcust automaton, and this also revitalizes the sword he stole from Auram. Now he commences the next step of the plan, to build orchestrated Babel and use it to create a new world for his resurrected sister. As the Orcust army opposes the Crusadia's advance, Auram notices that Babel is emanating a power that resembles his key. The mechanical vessels use this to activate Babel, releasing a bright pillar of light aimed at the World One. Auram, realizing that this would threaten the planet, tries to stop its activation but is intercepted by Ningirsu. The two former friends clash, neither gaining any ground over the other. With a resounding crash, the World One smashes into the planet's crust.